Hi folks, Travis Spencer with Kinney Insurance here. Given the current environment, a lot of folks are working and learning from home. With that has been an increase in video conference calling. Most people's home or work environment isn't set up properly to have a good video conference call, so I wanted to bring an expert in the topic in to give us some tips. So today I'd like to introduce you to Jay Stearns, who's the owner of Accent Productions. Hello, Jay.
Hey, Travis, thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
I've been a creative director, video producer for pretty much my entire career, and I help businesses to put their best foot forward through the power of video.
So Jay, can you give me some tips on how people can set up their work environment and then some etiquette they could use when they're doing a video conference?
My first tip is approach the meeting like you would if you were in person. You know, dress appropriately, look after hygiene, shave, comb your hair, use some makeup. The number one tip too is don't eat on camera. It makes noise. It doesn't look that good. What makes this whole thing possible is that we all have devices that have built-in HD cameras and microphones, whether you're using a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or a PC. Now, the other thing you want to be aware of is camera angle. You want to get the angle right. You don't really want to have a laptop looking up from the desk at you like a nose cam shot. You want the camera at eye height. Put your laptop on a stack of books or use a stand if you're using a tablet or phone. And know where the camera is. It's usually hidden in a corner of the bezel, but if you look at the camera, you're looking directly at your audience. I know the tendency is to look at the people on the screen, but that may mean looking over here or looking over there. And if you really want to connect with that audience like a newsreader does, then look right at the camera. Lighting is important too. You want to make sure that you don't have a bright light behind you. Oftentimes people sit and there's a window, so it creates a silhouette effect, or it flares and just doesn't look particularly good. So turn everything around. Have the window light fill your face. That being said, you don't want sunlight streaming in and hitting you because these cameras are auto exposure and that'll throw them off. But you may need to draw the blind or filter that light. But facing a window is better than having the window behind you.
That's one thing you helped me with is when we were doing our conferences, I had my back to the window and it was a big glare. So I could definitely see the difference by moving from the other side.
Yeah, no, it looks great. And if you're in a dark room sometimes, if you have to work at night or you're in a generally dark room, you might have to use a desk lamp or you can buy an inexpensive light. And an LED light works well because it creates more of a blue light than the yellowish light, so you get more of that daylight look. Lighting is one of those areas that you'll probably have to fiddle with. So if you feel like you need to add some light, depending on your setup, even a little fill light, play with it beforehand and try to get the best effect.
What are some products that you might recommend people buy if they're just basically using a phone or a laptop right now? What products should they invest in to make the video quality better?
And if you do a simple Google search, for webcam light or something like that, you'll find a lot of inexpensive options. B&H Photo, based out of the New York area, and they are they're professional lighting people, but they also have low-cost options, and they've got great service. You don't necessarily need to buy a light. You can use any existing light and just adapt it. But if you're doing this a lot and you want to step up, lighting is probably one area that everyone will benefit from and maybe worth spending up to $100.
In regards to sound around you, as probably people are going to hear, I'm facing the street in my office now, so there's a lot of extra noise. What's a good place to set up, and how do you reduce that outside noise? I
recommend a couple things. Get close to the source, so get as close as you can to your computer, your phone, your tablet, whatever you're using. Those microphones work pretty well within a couple of feet. But I'm also just using the headphones that came with my phone, so I've got a little microphone right here, and it's close to my mouth, so it will overcome most background noises. You can also invest in a little pair of AirPods or something using a Bluetooth connection if you don't want a wire. Or there's some desktop, there's some headphones. You can see some on the screen now. You need to choose something that works with your setup and within your budget.
And if people are just using their phones for these conferences, any recommendations on tripods or things to keep the phone steady?
Yeah, you can get small tripods with little stands in them that clip on your phone. And again, Best Buy, BH Photo, they have tons of these things. Green Mountain Camera down in South Burlington. It's sometimes hard to prop up a pad or a phone at the right height. So having a little tripod or a phone stand is definitely worth investing in. Background is really important, Travis. You don't want to compete for attention. Don't give people the chance to stare at your stuff or get distracted by it and start judging you. So keep it a simple background and maybe a plain wall or a brick wall or something that's maybe a little darker than the foreground than you are. It helps. Now, if you're using Zoom, it supports virtual backgrounds. So like I am right now, I've got my company logo over my shoulder, and you can easily create that in PowerPoint. You can create a slide and export that as a JPEG, put it into your Zoom software and use that as a virtual background. I'm also using a green screen, so I'll just show you, for example, what I'm doing here. I have none, so you can see me behind me. I've got a green cloth, and I can put all sorts of different examples there. That's Doctor Who for you science fiction fans, or go back to my logo. Now, again, if you're thinking about investing in some light and you want to do this a little bit more professionally, a green screen is a great option. And again, BH Photo is a place where you can get those for 50 to 70 bucks.
And I think my kids have tried this, but you don't necessarily have to use a green cloth. Can you use green construction paper, anything that is green?
Construction paper, photographic background paper, any kind of cloth. My last thought is, I guess if you're a business user and you're using PowerPoint or Google Slides or Apple's Keynote and screen sharing, make sure you plan these slides for viewing on a small screen. Use a large font, keep your point short, maybe 3 or 4 lines on a slide. Keep it bold and simple. It's not rocket science, but again, you want to come across as professionally as possible.
Fantastic, Jay. I appreciate your time today and all that information. Folks, if you have any additional questions, please reach out to Jay at Accent Productions. He can help you and your business in any video needs that you have. And as always, please share these videos. We really appreciate that. Thank you and have a great day.